you. Yes, that's correct. My efforts are being rewarded in abundance.
What happens when you take Alan Wake, Control, Resident Evil 4 Remake, postmodern storytelling and smash them together? You get Alan Wake 2, a twisted continuation to a game released in 2010, 13 years ago. Survival horror games back then were much different. It was that time when the genre was going extinct, replaced by action horror. Resident Evil 4, Dead Space, Silent Hill Homecoming, and Alan Wake are some examples of that. Thankfully, this changed, and nowadays we can enjoy true, scary, and atmospheric survival horror games again, and Alan Wake 2 is a great example of how to do it right. With that said, Alan Wake 2 is not as fast-paced like the original, and this can be a good or a bad thing, depending on your personal taste. Aside from being a sequel and continuing the story of the first game, Alan Wake 2 explicitly connects even further every single Remedy game to the Remedyverse, even Quantum Break, because nowadays everything needs to be part of some kind of bigger universe. However, I think this Remedyverse works much better than any other I've seen. The nature of this universe, composed mostly of video games, allows us to choose which story we are going to experience without missing out. You can realistically jump into Alan Wake 2 without having played any other Remedy game, and still have a good time. Important information is provided to the player when necessary. The game is absolutely gorgeous, immersive, and it pushes the media forward into some interesting places. However, it all came with a cost: the performance. Unfortunately, the performance is really bad. I was unable to secure a stable frame rate and frame time without the use of DLSS, especially while playing as Saga. And even then, sometimes the performance still sucks. I tested this on a GTX 1660 at first. Yes, I know it's a 4-year-old card. It's unplayable with it. So I bought an RTX 4060 and it's still just okay. This is the configuration I used while recording footage for this video. It's the best compromise between quality and performance. If you play Control, you know how confusing and maybe convoluted the story of that game is. Alan Wake 2 is not that confusing at first. You really need to think outside of the box to get it. Thankfully, like Control, the gameplay is very fun and satisfying. This game tells the story of how Alan Wake escapes a dark place, a separate reality or dimension from the ordinary world. However, this time he's not alone. Saga Anderson, an FBI agent investigating a series of horrific murders in the small town of Bright Falls, the same place where Alan disappeared 13 years ago, and that's something I love about this game. Placing it in 2023 is just brilliant. They acknowledge the first game came out so long ago, and they use this to their lore's advantage. While Saga investigates these murders, Alan uses these murders as conduit to help him finally escape to the ordinary world. You can play as both of them, and you can change between them at any moment. Together, they are finally able to free Alan from the dark place. When the game starts, you are in control of Robert Nightingale, an FBI agent who went missing after the events of the last game. After a little while trying to find his way through the forest, Nightingale is killed and his heart removed in a bizarre ritual. Then the title card pops up in a blasting, in-your-face way. Turns out that he was corrupted by the darkness and turned into what is known as a Taken. This is just a taste of what's come. Darkness, jump scares, and loud noises. The story of this game is better seen as a puzzle that the internet is still trying to solve. First of all, this is a mystery story. Unlike the first game, which had a more straightforward storytelling, this one tries very hard to keep things vague for as long as possible, allowing us to slowly piece it together. Who killed Nightingale? Oh, it was a cult? What's her motivation? Who is their leader? Are they really bad, or is something more going on? Second, but no least important, this game is very meta. Here's an example that's not a spoiler. Alan can see echoes from another reality, a world where the protagonist of his books, Alex Casey, is real and he's investigating a series of murders. Saga has a partner named Alex Casey. In this same reality, there are two more Alex Casey, the protagonist of Alan Wake's books, and another one who is also a fictional character, played by an actor in the film adaptations of the books, by the name of Sam Lake, the guy who wrote and directed Alan Wake 1 and 2.
And Alan Wake, on his journeys, he's almost slipping from one layer of reality to another, and we are
Now the game really starts, and we are presented to the new co-protagonist, Saga Anderson. Saga's side of the story is called Return. This will be important later. I kinda liked Saga as a person. As a detective, she's not that great though. I would say she's kinda bad. Things that were pretty obvious to me seem quite challenging for her. At the starting chapters of her story, we hear conversations between her husband, Daniel, and her daughter, Logan. They feel like a normal, happy family, and it is very clear right from the start that family is her driving force. However, is Saga really that great of a mother? Why do people in Bright Falls recognize her and keep saying she lived there if she never did? Is Logan really dead like the locals say? Is she addicted to her work in the FBI? Is Saga actually a good partner, or is she using Casey to get more juicy cases? These are some questions the story presented us as it unfolds. To an Alan Wake veteran like myself, playing a Saga can be frustrating because I already know what happened in the first game. I don't need to investigate why and how Alan disappeared. A quick recap at the start of the game would have been much better. I know these investigations about Alan are in the game for newcomers. I just don't like feeling that I'm wasting my time, and while playing as Saga, sometimes I feel like I'm wasting my time. Saga has access to this place called the Mind Place. It's an imaginary room where she can solve the many cases that happen during her campaign. Out of the things she can do is profile the characters she meets, and this is what I really hate about her gameplay. The profiling process is like she's mind reading the character she's profiling. She asks something, the character rambles a little, and then she finds the truth, but the character doesn't necessarily need to confess for her to jump to a conclusion, which sometimes are hard to believe she will be able to figure that out. It would have been much more interesting if she could actually read their minds or actually get them to confess. Like I said, I don't like the feeling that I'm wasting my time, like having to go through multiple subjects when profiling someone just to get to an answer that I already figured out. Another problem with profiling is that it's always the same scene. Saga is always sitting down and then the characters talk behind her. There's just way too many of these things to do. Some of these scenes are just unnecessary to me. Most of the time I was like, come on, let's wrap this up already. God damn. Oh my god, another one? Fuck! Not fun at all when replaying Saga's side at all. Another thing you can do in the Mind Place is use the case board, more like a wall, to tie evidences together in order to solve cases. This is the best thing in the Mind Place, and it actually helps a lot in keeping track of what is happening in the story, what information we actually know in game. It also helps to keep track of the many collectibles you already collected and how many are missing. However, this is another boring aspect of her gameplay when replaying the game. The thing is, you already know exactly what to do, but you must collect evidence A and tie it to evidence B in order to progress. And while replaying, you notice how many of these are actually in the game as well. You don't need to do every single profile, and you don't need to collect and put in the wall every single piece of evidence, and thank God for that. Outside of the Mind Place, Saga's gameplay is more in line with the new Resident Evil games. The UI is similar, there's a lot more action going on. Most of her story happens during daytime and in a forested area. Her rain animation reminds me of Jill's animation from the RE3 remake. Like the first game, enemies are usually covered by a shield of darkness, which can be destroyed by the flashlight, flares, or flash grenades, exposing a weak spot that causes a huge amount of damage when destroyed. Beyond that, you can also perform a dodge move and run as much as you want, since there's no stamina meter of any kind, thank God. But sadly, there's no sprinting as well. Still like in the first game, scattered throughout Bright Falls are various post lights, known as safe havens, which protects from the Taken and heals Saga's health when it's in a critical state. Attacking a Taken while inside a safe haven causes it to malfunction until you clear the area. Saga's side is the least scary between the two, but it's absolutely the most fun. There's a lot of exploration going on, but you don't have to do it. You can just focus on the main objectives and ignore the side stuff. Here's my advice: if you want to see everything there is to see, playing on hard is not that bad. You will need every single piece of resource you can get your hands on. If you're not in the mood to look for collectibles and hunt for more stuff, just play it on normal, because on normal you will be swamped by a lot of resources, giving you less incentive to hunt for even more. Saga's arsenal has more options than Alan's. It's composed of a pistol, a sawed-off shotgun, a pump-action shotgun, a hunting rifle, and a crossbow. The crossbow is a powerful weapon. You can recover some of its bolts, allowing you to spare a lot of ammo. The trade-off is its very slow reloading time, leaving Saga vulnerable for attacks. It can be an interesting challenge playing without it to see how much the gameplay changes. Flash grenades and flares can be used by both Saga and Alan. As Saga, there's more puzzles to solve and more side content as well. Cold stashes are locked containers with various items inside. It can take you minutes to unlock some of them, while others may take a lot longer. Some require a key, some require a password, usually found near the stash. Some of them I was unable to crack by myself, and again, they are absolutely non-essential. Nursery rhymes are riddles you can solve in order to get special items known as charms. Their effects can go from preventing Saga from dying to increasing her health by a little permanently. To solve a riddle, first you must find doll items. Not every doll can be found in the same environment the riddle is, and some of these riddles can only be completed near the end of the game. I never felt I would miss anything important if I ignored them though. Alex Casey lunchboxes are small containers hidden in the world. Opening them does not require any sort of puzzle solving. It awards you with points you can use to upgrade Saga's weapons. Mayor Satter placards are postcards you can find and read as Saga. If you find all of them, you get a special charm, which to me was the most useful of these, since it reveals every item near Saga, extremely useful in every difficulty. Taxidermy deer heads can be found in various places and you can pet them as Saga. Petting all of them unlocks a room full of resources. As you play, you will come across songs, interviews, videos, files, and manuscript pages, which can all be accessed in the Mind Place. If you told me that Saga side of Alan Wake 2 is a new Resident Evil game just by showing me the gameplay, I would honestly believe you. Thank God there's no stalker enemy. That's the one thing I really dislike about the new RE games. Alan's side is called Initiation. To escape the dark place, Alan is actually writing a book called Return, but the dark presence is trying to mess with him, and with the book, trying to edit it into its own escape. Each completed draft of this book represents a failed attempt at escaping. American Nightmare is an example of one of these drafts. That's why it took him 13 years to leave the dark place. Return needs to be just right. After some time, Alan realizes Return by itself is not enough. He needs a companion piece. He titled it Initiation, a story that allows him to explore the dark place and search for a way out. That's when he starts to bring other characters into the story, like Saga, the real Alex Casey, the fictional Alex Casey, and the entirety of Bright Falls. Initiation is set in the fictional New York from the Alex Casey books, being a lot darker in tone and atmosphere. Right after starting to play as Alan, in the first chapter of Initiation, we are presented to a character known as Mr. Door. His intentions are not very clear. He is there to aid Alan, but he also comes across as neutral to all of this in the dark place. Akti, the janitor from Control, is back, and he also helps Alan by giving him hints and trying to explain what's happening. I don't want to talk about Alan's side of the story, because I feel this is the one side you must experience by yourself. A lot could be ruined if I go any further. Gameplay wise, Alan's side remains mostly the same as Saga's. The key difference between them is that Alan's side is much scarier and more like a walking simulator at times. Most of the time. Combat is not a regular thing like it is in Saga's gameplay. The focus here is in the atmosphere and the story, which are both absolutely incredible. In the dark place, you don't fight Taken, you fight similar enemies known as shadows. They are like ghostly Taken, except they are mostly non-hostile unless provoked by running close to them or pointing the flashlight at them. The way to fight them is the same as Taken's. Focus a light at them to destroy their darkness shields and then shoot at them. Some shadows don't need to be shot to die, just using a light source is enough. The dark place is the reign of a creature known as the Dark Presence, a strong force that destroys everything in its path, and it is tirelessly hunting for Alan. The Dark Presence can also take the form of Mr. Scratch, Alan's evil double, the one editing Return, trying to use it as a way of escaping the dark place instead of Alan. Its goal is to use a device known as the Clicker to shape the world in his own image, chaos and darkness. The Clicker is a device capable of bending and changing reality to the will of who's using it. To work, it only needs a piece of art and a user who believes in such art. Alan used this device in the last game to defeat the Dark Presence, preventing you from escaping. Like Saga, Alan also has access to a special place called the Writer's Room. Physically, Alan is inside this place, which is in the dark place, but his consciousness is projected in the dark place outside of this room to find a way out. In the Writer's Room, like Saga, you can watch videos and listen to songs and audio clips you found. Still in the Writer's Room, each chapter represents a draft of Initiation, and you can use the plot board to change the world around Alan in real time. It's a very cool mechanic, way better than Saga's board, and it's used a lot less too, making it special and fun when you're allowed to use it. In order to use the board, you must first find pieces of inspiration. These always come in the form of echoes. It is through these echoes that Alan follows his character, Alex Casey, who is investigating a series of murders, and is following Casey that Alan gets access to various murder scenes, which are all part of a ritual that will allow Alan to escape the dark place. Words of Power are collectibles found written in surfaces throughout New York. They allow you to level up certain abilities. These are all of the collectibles available for Alan, making his gameplay very straightforward and shorter. Alan's arsenal is unfortunately lacking, being composed of a revolver, a flare gun, and a double-barreled shotgun. Well, at least he got the best looking shotgun there is, and the most powerful of them all. World-changing mechanics are not limited to the writer's room. Early on, you'll find the Angel Lamp, a tool used to trap the light from a source to use it in another. The room around Alan changes, sometimes revealing hidden pathways that were previously not accessible. These places also act like safe havens. There is a new game plus in the game called The Final Draft. It actually changes some stuff in both sides of the story, including the ending. Since it's a new game plus mode, you do keep all your weapons, items and abilities, but collectibles reset, allowing you to collect them again if you want. That's all I can say about this mode. Like always, Matthew Porretta is an amazing actor with so much range it shows. Being the voice for Alan and Darling, both of them sound pretty different from each other. Yuka Villi is just as great, providing a lot of nuance and a lot of character just by his expressions, facial and body. Man, everyone is amazing in this game. David Harewood as Mr. Door brings a fun and mysterious charm. Christina Cole as Alice is beautiful. You really feel her sadness and grief. I absolutely love Jessica Preddy as Rose. She's so quirky, there's no way you cannot love her. Mari Swazolo is perfect as Adi. It's the one that stands out the most for me, a mixture of weirdness and mystery. Shawn Ashmore as Jack Joyce, Tim Breaker, helps to connect Quantum Break to the Remedyverse. Janina Gavankar as Kiran Estevez, aka Agent Estevez, is so good. The limited time she was in the game really showed how good she is. James McCaffrey as Max Casey, Alex Payne, is just perfect. The man was born for the role. A poetic badass. Rest in peace, you absolute legend. Sam Lake as Alex Casey and as himself is also very good. The man really showed he can be a good actor. Melanie Liebert as Saga did not stand out in my opinion. I liked her, but any other of these performers I mentioned dwarfed her in comparison, and that's so unfortunate. Poets of the Flawless Old Gods of Asgard are just perfect as always. They really expanded their significance in the story and in the gameplay with 3 musical pieces: Herald of Darkness, Dark Ocean Summoning, and Anger's Remorse. I can go without talking about how this game screwed up Alan Wake. Unfortunately, this is not his story. This is Saga's story. I feel like if you don't play Alan's side at all, you will still understand pretty much everything. He got the smaller world, the brief story, the lesser amount of gameplay. You can finish his side in 6 hours or less on normal difficulty, and that makes me sad. The name of the game is Alan fucking Wake, goddammit. I don't know, I just wanted to play as him more. He's the more interesting character in the more interesting environment. How many games can you play as a writer in a twisted version of New York? Not many, you know. And how many can you play as a cop or similar in some twisted forced environment? I guess you get the point. If you ignore all the side content for Saga, using the case board and profiling only when it's mandatory to progress the story, you will end up finishing her side in about 6 hours as well. When playing Alan's side, doing everything is the only way to get to those 6 hours.
Make all this shit go away!
If Saga's side is a new Resident Evil, Alan's side feels more like a Metro game. Seriously, the subway area looks like it came straight out of Metro 2033. There's even a similar sequence involving a burned subway car, which by the way is absolutely disturbing for the seconds it lasts. In the long run, Alan's side of the game will be remembered more fondly than Saga's side for being more creative. In my opinion, his side is much cooler and out there. Although her side is more fun to play since there's a lot of action. It is also more generic, unfortunately. This is just how I feel. You might have a different opinion though, and this is one of the many things I love about this game. But is it worth it? Absolutely yes. Even if you don't care about the story at all, there's still a lot of great and satisfying gameplay left for you.
You've been missing for 13 years.
Are we all in your story, Alan?
Remember to turn on the light.
Alan's back, haunting me.
Alice.
That's all I have for today. I hope to see you soon, and thank you for watching.